Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Grown Clip Bonsai for Seniors. For not only for seniors, but for 100, from 1 to 101 plus. Today is November 8th of 2024. It's Friday. It's 61 degrees Fahrenheit or 16 degrees Celsius. It's going down. Mr. Clock says it's about 5:52 p.m. So today we're going to work on a mistletoe fig, a Ficus deltoidea. It likes medium light, temps between 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 26 degrees Celsius. And if you get yellow leaves on it, it's too much water. Now I tried it before and it was growing, but then I lost it, but that was my fault. Too much water, darkness in the basement. Nothing I could have done back then, but hey, I'm still learning. Hey, 76 and still learning. So I got this Ficus mistletoe fig from Ted's greenhouse. Look at that nice fig tree you can get. Now you can't eat the figs. This is just for show. And a lot of figs were dropping off, so I saved them. Maybe I can try to grow it from seed. But you can see there's another tree in here growing. So I don't know if it's coming from the root or where it's coming from, but we won't know until we get it out of the pot. But before we do anything, we're going to have to chop some of this off. So I'm going to take a big cut to here. Let's see if you can see it. Right to here. And I'm going to let this one come up and start to grow out this way. And I'll probably take this inside one off. And this branch, well, let's start so I can show you what I'm doing. So we're going to take this one off to here. So that took a lot off. And what I'm going to do is take my ironwood tool, you know, because there's nothing cuts wood like ironwood. Let's put it in our solution of water and rooting hormone powder. I just put it in there. I don't know if it's going to grow or not, but what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take and just scrape a little bit of it off so it absorbs. And you can do that with your cut flowers too. It'll help them absorb water more. This one too we're going to put in. I don't know if the cuttings will grow because it's late in the season, but hey, we try it. So put that there. Now that we got this one coming up and out, we're going to take this one off. That's going to the inside. I'm going to cut that real close, just like that. Take the pot off. Throw it in the water. I should have had a different container, but what are you going to do? Now we're going to take our other ironwood tool, and you can see right here where this branch is coming out. So we're going to get rid of that one, just like that. Take the fig off. Scrape the wood just real lightly like that. And thank you, James, from Bonsai by the Sea. I learned that from him, how he was doing his, and, you know, works out better. So then, we got another branch way down here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's way down here. We're going to cut that one off. So we're going to take our needle nose ironwood tools and go right into the side there. Cut that off. Now this one here, I'm just going to fold it for now and stick it in the water. What I do is I let these sit in water for a couple of days until I have a chance to plant them. Because you can see what I do with the bougainvillea. I stuck them in water and they're still hanging out good with the rooting hormone. So now I got everything growing straight up. So from the top we can pinch off some. We got a branch growing here and a branch growing out there. We got the leader over here and another leader there. and this one's growing in, so I think we're going to cut it to about here. That way there everything's coming out. I don't know if this will be a good cutting or not, but you know what? I'm going to just stick it in with the booms for now. I'll scrape it later. And now let's take it apart. And you know, with Christmas coming up, you got someone in the bonsai hobby or just doing gardening, you know, nothing cuts wood like ironwood. They got a good lifetime guarantee with it, so hey, go for it. So now let's see if this is a tree, another cutting that rooted, or is it coming from the roots? So a lot of you say, well, I can't afford a root hook, I can't afford to buy one. Back scratcher. Cheap little back scratcher, so it extends, so you just hold on to it by here, and then all you do is take it and just take the soil off the roots and just peel it down. And the best time for pruning on a mistletoe fig is, they says, early to late winter. So that's good. And then when you get a bunch on there, you just take that off. And you just hit it. Just tap it in there. So we want to get this down. We're going to take the plug that they started the tree in, the cutting in. Just going to take it down, just like that. And now we're exposing a lot of the surface roots. They're starting to come up. Now this one's a little bit harder, so I'm going to have to take Matt's root rake on this one. Just dig in there and get that out. Matt's from Bobcat Bonsai. He sells the root rakes, homemade. I asked for the one with the wood because it's better for people with arthritis, and it's not cold like solid steel is. Well, I mean, in the summertime it doesn't matter, but for the wintertime, hey, wood is good. So I'm just going into here, and you can see this is starting to develop. I don't know if you can see it, a root. Let me turn it this way. I don't know if you can see that root developing there. So that's going to be a good cutting because it already has a root on it. So we're going to have to cut this close. So let's just tease it out a little bit more, a little bit more. And then we're going to put it in Ted's cactus mix. I do that because, you know, in the wintertime for me, if it doesn't dry out fast, at least it's not going to rot or anything, because Ted's mix is a good fast draining soil. So I'm going to just do it like that. Just get in there. And smooth it out. Smooth. Just rake it, hold it. Just like when your hair is in a knot. You hold that hair until you get it out. The knots from the roots. And there you have it. I've got a nice radial root coming out this way, and this one has 2 roots. So now I am going to try and take all this out from it. And you can see it's got a root growing here and another root here from this cutting. So we're going to take that out. We're going to cut it real close. That's why I got the needle nose ready. Ironwood sells the needle nose, and I'm going to cut as close to the trunk as possible. There. So when I did that, you can see it saved a lot of the root, a lot of the young root. So all we're going to do is take this piece off. Mr. Clock on the wall says it's 5 o'clock. So we're going to use the old soil and replot it. 5 o'clock, Mr. Clock says. So kitties, Mr. Clock says hello, as long, and also Mr. Elephant and his whole elephant family. There's Mrs. Elephant, Stash, Elcha. There's Uncle Joe Patsevalcum, Pinkie Pie. And then there's Darlene the Snail. So see, we got this in there real nice and good. And you can see how nice Ted's mix is where he's got it in there. He sells different mixes, regular potting mixes. So go out to Ted's in Tinley Park. Check online because they have different winter hours now, so you don't run there and they're closed. Give them a call, they'll tell you the hours, or you can also go online. So we'll get this piece out over here. And I just got that in there. This will make this real nice. So let's see what happens to this. So we're not going to give it water yet. We're going to put it on the side for now. I'm going to take this old pot, put it on the floor here. Now we got most of this root out of here. And I'm just going to go into the bottom here. And that's pretty good. It's got a nice beautiful root base here. Nice radial root base. Look at that. The roots come out real cool. So I'm going to put that soil into my old potting mix soil, and then I'll just stir it up later. If I can get it in without that cover closing. And I'll take this here, and the cover did close. But that's alright. In it goes. Now I'll take a pot. Now this is just an old pot that I have. And there's the screen in there. And don't mind the noise, that's the wash machine going off center with the load. So if you don't have the number 7 knitting mitts, just use a good aluminum window screen. Just put it in there. And let's see how this is going to sit. We're going to have to pick a front. And you know what? If this is the front, we got this branch coming this way. And if this is the front, we got this branch coming this way. For a front, the branch is coming this way, and this is coming this way. So what we can do is cut that off. I'll do another cutting just to get it started. And if these turned red, which they don't, you could have hung them up for mistletoe. But that's besides the point. So getting this in here like that, I think we'll have it a little bit off. Now let's see now. Let's put the cover on the side there. Let's get a little bit of Ted's mix. You can see Ted's mix in there. I think it's like core and perlite, and it's got lava rock in there. Let's hold that down the screen. Get a little more in there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fan the root base out. We're not going to do no heavy root pruning right now because it's a young plant, and I think if we stick it like this, it'll be all right. The way I'm looking at it, I don't know if you can see it. And there's no roots coming up. There's just this one root coming up here, so I'll take my shears for pruning roots. Just cut that one off just like that. And put that in the trash. Let me just give it another cut right there. There we go. And everything else looks pretty good. We can cut some of this back to here. Just the long ones. There we go. And then you can see the nice root base, how it's coming out. So the roots are all coming out of the bottom here. So here's one heavy thick root right there. We can cut that. Just like that. And let's see, cut that close to here, cut this little piece off so we can establish a nice bottom root base. Cut that one out of there, just like that. And then we're going to just flare it out. So what I'm going to do, let's get some more soil in the middle, just like that. And then we'll just flare out the root base. And if this is going to be our front, I'm going to hold it up to about here and have it just a little bit off center because it'll allow for this main branch here from coming out this way and covering up this space. So now I'm going to get some more soil and put it in. You're going to say, Tom, you didn't get no Micos or Azus with you, but I still have the other one that I can water it in to the roots. But I'm not going to do that right now because I got to mix it and I got to be able to use it because that little scoop makes a good gallon of it. So take your chopstick, get it pretty well centered in the pot, fire it in, fire it in, fire it in, just like that. Fire it in, fire it in. Don't be afraid, just fire it in, fire it in. And then Mr. Elephant, I'm going to give it a little bit of water to give me some stability. There. When you add water, it adds weight to the soil. So then you don't have to worry about it flopping all over the place. There we go. Keep it straight, just like that. Put it in, just like that. Now, just get with your fingers, get it into the pot level the best you can, because then we're going to give it a little bit of a Christmas theme because it is it's a mistletoe fig. Now sometimes you get a little air pocket, so with your fingers, just go in. If you can't do it with your fingers, use the end of a chopstick. Push, push. Get the soil in there. Let's see if you can see it better. Just get the soil in. Get it inside. There we go. Mr. Elephant says hello to all the kitties, and you know what today is. Today's Friday. And you know what Friday is. Friday night, that means get Grandpa off the couch, Grandma. Put on some big band music, or music was music, and have a little dance tonight. So now we're going to water it in. So how are we going to fix this up for a Christmas theme or a snowy theme? So the first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to seal the wounds. You're going to say, well, I like cut paste. Well, they also have gunmetal lipstick. It's black. Looks just like cut paste. All you do is a little dab will do you, like Brill Cream on the cuts. Remember the old Brill Cream commercials? A little dab will do you. My friends put a little more than the dab on their heroin back in the day, and you could have had the fiercest 150-mile-an-hour hurricane winds blowing, and it wouldn't mess up their hair. That's the way they had it back then. Okay, then we got a nice little wound here. And the cut paste. Now they got brown lipstick to match the trunk, but people like cut paste, so hey, lipstick. Little cut right there, we'll seal that. You never know the difference. Never know the difference. So, Tom, what are we going to do? We could put a rock over here. This is a feather stone. Maybe a feather stone back here. And then we have a deer that we can put over here. But before we do that, I have snow in the form of sand. Hobby Lobby, $2.49. So what I'm going to do is take the sand and let's put the snow down. Put a little bit of snow on the feather rock, because the feather rock should hold it in. And just put it in. And let the snow fall. There we go. Put it on the feather rock, it'll hold it down. Let's see what happens when we spray it though. There we go. Just like that. Give it a little decor for the holidays. And you don't have to buy all this expensive soil. Go to Ted's, you can get small bags for like $5 or something like that. I forget how much, but Ted sells smaller bags. You don't have to get the bushel like I do, which is like $12 for a bushel. I forget how much it is. Don't quote me on that. But there we go. Let's put this on the side and take our fingers, get the excess dirt off the, not dirt, soil. Oh, got the snow all out. Tom, you gotta watch them fingers. There we go. Let's get that out. Now this, I don't edit my films, so what you see is what you get. Is what I do, mistakes and all. So you're gonna say, hey, that looks like snow with the wind blowing it away, but we're gonna cover it up. Get that feather stone in there, and let's give it just a little bit. A little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit snow on the feather stone. So I don't know how it's going to look when I spray it. There we go. And we'll put our buck in there. Okay, let's cover this up so we don't get the sand dirty. And let's give it a light spray, see what happens. There we go. Little light spray right there, right there. And now with this sand, it looks like the snow when it starts to melt. So let me just put a little bit more snow on there. Because the feather stone with all the crevices holds it in good. Let's see. There we go. And let's get our spray bottle one more time with light snow. And you can see now when it sticks to the feather rock. Sorry, Mr. Elephant, hit him in the nose. Mr. Elephant's okay, kiddies. So there you go, but look at the rock. It looks like the snow is melting on the rock. It gives it a good color, feather stone, because it holds it in place. Look at that. It looks like the snow's starting to melt, and you know how snow looks when it starts to melt. It gets that icy appearance. So here's our ficus, our mistletoe fig, I mean. And we're going to go from there. Now, you're going to say, Tom, what about this end over here? Yeah, I just seen that now. You know, after all that cutting and stuff. So all I'm going to do is give it a little cut. Boom. A little dab will do ya. And we are 5:15. So we have to get cutting here. Let you guys go. So give it a try. Mistletoe fig, Ted's greenhouse. And then we're going to see if this one's going to grow with that little bit of root. So everybody have a good night. Cup of tea. Dance with your loved one. Old time big band music. And just relax. And if you can't dance, sit back and hold each other's hand on the chair and just relax. What else? Take care, everybody.